Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video we're discussing The Island, written by Adrian McKinty. Here's the book. It's a thriller. It's a survival thriller basically, a run-for-your-life thriller. So if you like those type of books, I think you'll like this. It's set on an island off the coast of Australia, and it's basically the authors bringing in characters that are basically the Australian equivalent of cannibal hillbillies, but minus the cannibal aspect. That's what I think this book is like. A group of people running away from this family of people on this island. And it's a very fun, fast read. So if you like those type of books, I think you'll enjoy this. At the start of this book, we meet Heather, her husband Tom, and her two stepchildren. They're in Australia on a holiday. And her kids are being a bit bratty basically. They want to see Australian wildlife. They haven't seen much. And they're there because Tom's at a conference. So he hasn't got much time for sightseeing. But Heather and Tom get a bit sick of the kids' attitude. And they decide, okay, we'll go across to this island on a ferry, a private ferry, and we'll see if we can see wildlife. Now that's a bit creepy in itself because these people who we're saying come across on the ferry, they don't seem like the most trustworthy people. So it's a red flag, I think, in this book. But being a thriller, the characters ignore that and they go across to this island on this private ferry. So on this island, Tom thinks he's like king of the road and he's driving his car very fast, a rental car, very fast on these dirt roads, and hits somebody and kills them. And this person is linked to this family who kind of owns the island basically. They all live there together. It's a huge group of people. And it seems like there's about 20 of them or something. And they find out that Tom has hit this person. Tom and Heather try to cover it up to begin with. They think, let's cover it up and get on the ferry, get back to the mainland, then report it. And you get the feeling that they may not report it after all. You get that sense about them at the start of this book. But the family find out about the accident and they want justice. And they don't want official justice with the police. They want their own brand of justice. And it's a very, very violent brand of justice indeed. So from that moment on, when the family find out that one of their members has been killed by a car accident, this is where the whole survival aspect kicks into the story. The action picks up. Becomes a real run-for-your-life book. Heather and her family, they're running all the time. They're running from danger in every scene in this story. But those action scenes, while some of them are quite powerful and very strong, and sometimes you're wondering, will they get away? It makes the island seem bigger than it is. So in this book, we're told the island's a few kilometers across in every direction. So it's not a very big island. But just the way this book plays out, there's so much running and movement. We're told characters run, a distance in one direction, then a distance in another direction. We've got people coming in from another direction, hunting them from a distance. All different directions in the book, it seems. This island seems so much bigger than those few kilometers across in either direction. And that's a bit of a miss, I think. I think the author failed to keep the action contained in this small environment. Maybe the author created a small environment and didn't know how to use it very well. I'm not sure. But for me, the island just seems so much bigger than it actually is. As this whole book plays out, I thought the two stepchildren of Heather were written in a very strange way. They don't seem consistent. They're written very bratty at the start, and it seems to shift a bit as the book progresses. And sometimes the interactions between Heather and the son especially just seems a bit odd. It's very abrupt, very aggressive. Then it shifts suddenly. And I don't know why. There's no real reason why that would shift. Other than that he thinks he's in danger maybe, and he has to behave himself suddenly. But there are so many moments on the island where that's not the case. So it's a very strange shift in my view. So I think those interactions between family members, Heather and her stepchildren, aren't the best in this book. So while this run-for-your-life action, this whole survival thing, feels okay at the very start of the story, there's a certain part in the book where it just goes off the rails and goes completely bonkers basically, and it just feels very strange, very over the top. But over the top not in a good way. It just feels too unreal to be true. And that pulled me out of the story a little bit. And there are certain bits of that where I think the pace dropped as well. It became not about run for your life and survival. The author tried to inject a bit of cat and mouse things into the story as well, but not in a very positive way in my view. The cat and mouse aspects just slowed down the whole tension, pace, everything about the book just went almost to sleep in certain moments of this book while we had this cat and mouse element playing out in the story. But I think many readers will get to those parts of the story and be so invested in the survival aspect, they won't care. It's one of those books where you're just having fun reading it. You're just going with the flow of the story. As I said, it's very quick, it's a very fun read. The action will pull you in. Some of the characters will pull you into the story. Some of the characters on the villain side will pull you in as well because they're written very well. So it's one of those books where it's just a fun read and you don't have to think about too much when you're reading this. You can just enjoy the ride. Sometimes you may feel pulled out of the story, like I did, but I think a lot of readers won't. I think a lot of readers will just go along with the ride and enjoy the book overall. Heather, our main character. If there's ever a time a book like this needs a character, it's Heather. She seems perfect for a book like this because she's created as a certain character at the start. Then as the book progresses, the book needs a character who can do this or knows this, and it's Heather. Heather seems like she's something that, she's getting those Velcro balls straight at her and they cling to her all the time. And every time a Velcro ball clings to her, it's another aspect of her character. And it happens whenever there's a scene in the book or a moment that we need a character who can do a certain thing. It becomes her. That's her whole part of the story, it seems. It's done well. It makes the book sometimes feel a bit cheesy to me, but I think she's a perfect character for a book like this. There's a character called Ma who's the matriarch of this family who lives on the island. And I like her as a character. She has this kind of sinister, dangerous feel. She's also vulnerable as a character as well. But overall, she just feels like this character you don't like. You want something bad to happen to her in the book sometimes because she can seem very cunning, very dangerous. And she seems like she's out for vengeance at times as well. Whenever I have her in the scenes in this story though, in my mind, I picture the female matriarch character from that movie American Gothic. The one where you have a group of teenagers stranded somewhere in the wilderness and this family are hunting them for food. That's what I feel in my mind. I get that picture in my mind when I have Ma in the scenes. Owen is Heather's stepson in the story. And despite this book being a run for your life scenario where Heather and her stepchildren and Tom, her husband, are trying to escape, I don't like Owen as a character. If any of these characters were going to get hurt, I wouldn't care if it was Owen. He's just very bratty. He seems like a character that just is so hard to like, in my view. Everything about him is about confrontation with Heather. It's all he cares about, and he thinks he's so clever in the story as well. Maybe he is in the book, but he's written in a certain way that he feels so obnoxious in the book. That's what I'm trying to get at, I think. He just feels like this obnoxious kid that is just going to get worse as he gets older. That's the feeling I get from Owen in this book. Even though I don't think this book is wonderful, there's a lot to like about this book. I rate it a 3 out of 5. There's things going on that do make sense. It does go a bit bonkers off the rails at the end of the story. But by then, I think you'll be so invested, you may not care what happens in the book after that. There are characters in the book that are written very well. Some characters you won't like, some characters you won't like but you engage with a lot because they're written very well. And I think a lot of readers may get different things from this story. It's a simple story. It's set on a small island, of course, but the flaw is that island feels bigger than it is. So that's one of the flaws in this book that kind of pulls me out of the story sometimes. On my channel, I review many thrillers. If you enjoy thrillers, check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link to a video for another book I'm sure you'll enjoy.